What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the TB2 podcast, and today I'm feeling like dancing. I feel like dancing. I mean, we have a true legend in the building. He's a part of the original WCW. He's actually one half of the first ever Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions in WCW, and there's only one first ever, and we have one right here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kid Romeo. How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Kid Romeo in the house. What's going on?
So I gotta tell you, WCW was a vital part of my love for professional wrestling. It started when I was a young age, and for you to be a part of that and to get to talk to you right here, it's truly an honor. I appreciate you giving me the time.
It's my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Anything for my fans.
So we'll go ahead and get it started. You started off wrestling back in WCW. You went from being, we'll say, a male dancer into training at the power plant. Now, what transitioned that career move?
Well, I used to be a dancer, a male dancer, and my name was Romeo. It was a stage name that I picked because it was a name that would make the girls go like, "Ooh, Romeo." So, I go ahead and picked that. And then as I picked that, I got into the circuit, and then the circuit got into bigger groups and bigger groups and bigger groups. And then I wound up doing like a couple like world tours and stuff like that. So I was already up and running in show business before I got into the wrestling. I went to Japan and I was there for like 2 times for like 3 months, doing stage shows and all gimmicks, all outfits, all acting out. So that kind of like prepared me to make the transition into wrestling. So, after the years went by and stuff, and the dancing was kind of coming to an end and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, what can I do now? Let's do pro wrestling. I live in Orlando, Florida. So after traveling the whole world, I came back to here to Orlando, and that's when they used to do the Saturday night tapings at Universal Studios. So I went
Okay.
I went to one of the tapings and I sat up close, right? And then I saw like Chavo and I saw Ray and all those guys. And by stature, because I remember wrestling, it was only like big dudes. So I never even dreamt of being a wrestler. I love wrestling. I like wrestling, but some of these guys, they they dream was to be a wrestler. That wasn't my dream. I don't even know what the hell my dream was, but I was just day by day. And to be honest, and then I'm like, well, I think I can do that. Because they were doing, like flips and acrobatics and more like, like you telling a story with a small guy, with a big guy, and stuff like that. So I stayed in the parking lot, and a whole bunch of people came out. And I talked with all of them, and they told me I had a good look, that I had a good physique and everything. And so I basically told them, what do you need to do to try out? The first thing they do, be able to do 1,000 Hindu squats.
Mm.
Back in the day,
Ooh.
if you can do 1,000 with, I mean, you don't need weights for those and everything. People don't have no idea what it takes to do 1,000. I mean, you do it in
Right.
sets of 100. We did them in sets of 100, and then you know, it was like a mental game because when we did them over there at the power plant, you'd be at 50, and then one of the guys asked it and touched the bucket, and then, oh, starting again. Everybody get pissed off, yelling at that guy and everything. It was like a mental game and stuff like that. You had to run in place, take bumps, and then start squatting again and stuff like that. So, I stayed afterwards and they told me everything I had to do. I went to the gym. I trained for about 3 months, doing like 100 squats in between all my sets of working out. Went over there. There was 14 guys in my tryout, and I was the only one to make it out of that tryout.
Nice.
14 guys. Yeah, it was 14, and then down to like 5 on day 2, and then down to 3 on the last day, and then the 2 other guys didn't make it. I was the only one that made it.
Wow.
But
And,
it was
and
rough. It's not. It wasn't. Going from dancing, you're not taking a beating or anything. Just girls rubbing on you and stuff like that, to taking those bumps and everything. It's nothing what I expected. I thought the mat was gonna be soft. I thought those ropes were like, I don't know, rubber bands. No, I mean, at least the WCW ones, that was like steel with a rubber hose on it. That them bitches didn't move. They were perfect for springboard. Now these ropes, they're all like flimsy and stuff. So you're running the ropes and stuff. Next day you wake up, your shit's like Mike Tyson just sat there, toof, 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 toof,
Mm.
all black and blue curtain and stuff, until you learn your body gets used to it. And then taking the bumps is the same thing. So it was definitely something that I was not perceiving that how is that going to be, but then your body adapts and stuff to it.
And even today, I guess you must still be hitting those 1,000 daily, because back then you were shredded, but even today you're in really, really good shape.
I still got a six pack. I still got the same size waist that I did in high school, if not a little bit smaller. But I take care of myself. I do everything as well as besides the gym. I do aesthetics. I do all the things that the women do, all those lasers that hurt like hell, and all those needles and pins. I do all that shit and I think it's working because I'm actually
For sure.
57. I just turned
Wow.
57 yesterday. Kid Romeo turned 57.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But
So,
they tell me I don't look a day older than 42, 43.
oh no, still
That's
in
what they say.
wonderful shape.
Yeah, I
And
mean
and
that's
you
why I
say,
say like some of the guys, some of the other guys, I don't know, a lot of guys they just let themselves go. There's a lot of guys that still in shape, but so many guys just look at them now like, oh my God. I can't
yeah,
let myself go.
you are an
Plus
exact
I work
example. Go ahead.
what I was saying, I still work my Kid Romeo angle into my business and stuff. I got my pictures in the back and on the sides, former WCW champs with a thing with me holding the belt like that and everything. So, that gets conversation, that gets phone calls. People are like, oh my God, I used to watch you, this and that. So I'm still working the gimmick. Like they're saying, I'm still working the Kid Romeo gimmick. It's
I
helped
mean,
me more now, I think, than wrestling.
you're a prime example of men. Not all men are created equally. I'm just gonna say that you're a prime example. I mean, wonderful, wonderful shape. And you say it was just recently your birthday. Not only is it your birthday this month, but we just passed the 25-year anniversary of you winning the first ever tag team cruiserweight titles in WCW. You and Elix Skipper. What did that moment mean to you guys?
Man, that was really a great moment, and making history like that, uh, that only comes once in a lifetime. It was a really, really good match. It was the best match in the last pay-per-view because it wasn't the last show. It was the best match in the last pay-per-view in WCW history. So I can take that with me to the grave. You know what I'm saying? Not, like I said, first time ever, nobody can take it away. And it was awesome. It was simply awesome.
I mean, in that tournament that you guys were in, you wrestled a lot of names that are synonymous in this business. I mean, in the first round you went
Legends,
against.
legends, legends.
Yes, in the first round you went against Air Paris and AJ Styles. They were Air Raid. You went against the Filthy Animals, Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman in the final round to win the titles. I mean, what was it like working with some of those guys? Even back then in the young days, did you know that they were going to be something that they became in the business? I mean, 25-year careers. AJ Styles just retired recently. How was working with some of those guys?
Oh, it was great. Those guys, those guys had such passion for it and stuff like that. They were literally involved like all their life. I kind of came into this a little bit later in life. I was kind of like, I think I was 28 or 29 when I broke in. So sometimes I just wonder if I would have started a little bit earlier. Sometimes things it's about timing. If I would have started
Yeah.
a few years earlier and stuff, I would have been there and a little bit longer time and all that stuff, and maybe that could have affected the trajectory of everything. Just being once they sold us and stuff, when they came in the room, they were kind of like you know, kind of pick and choose who they say, hey, what's up? Like Shane McMahon, he came by me and Elix and gave us like, hey, what's up, guys? And kept on going.
Mm.
Kidman and Stereo, obviously they were there a little bit longer and all that. They're more known. They got more handshake and more of this than we did. Me and Prime Time looked at each other like, no bueno. We're supposed to keep the
Yeah.
titles. We're supposed to keep those titles. And then when they bought it, they changed the plans and gave it to Ray and Kidman.
Billy. Yeah. Yeah. And with that, I mean, going from incredible highs, you guys just won the Cruiserweight tag titles. It feels like you guys are off and running, and then the company closes its door, less than 10 days later.
We're
Did you
supposed
guys know that it
we
was
th- we thought
coming?
we thought it was going to be in hiatus, that somebody was going to buy us, and then things were going to take off again and everything. And then it turned out to be that was WWE, and that was
Mm,
literally the coffin, the nail in the coffin right there for a lot of us. I mean, they did take a lot of guys. I think they mostly took the big guys in the beginning, like the Ginger Axe and Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo and
yeah.
stuff. And they worked them up, but obviously things didn't go right because they just fell through the cracks. Such
Yeah.
talent and everything. Each one had their own reasons. I don't want to get into none of that and stuff. They I guess, but each one had individual reasons and stuff. But nevertheless, they fell through the cracks with tremendous bodies, physical stature, and athletic ability and stuff. And I had it for the cruiserweights. In WCW, it's like I couldn't do anything wrong, nothing. Whatever I did, more and more. We want more. I was supposed to be the next Rey Mysterio. I mean, literally, I'm not. That was not even a work. That's like what they wanted and stuff. And they compared me, like some of these podcasts, and talk about talking about the past, and like talk about this kid Romeo. I was like, yeah, he was like a stripper that with a slightly better looking than Ray, with a better body and stuff like that. So I mean, it was I was going that way, but like I said, when this company folded and stuff, that was kind of like not so good.
I mean, I completely understand that. And honestly, talking about timing, you guys were all ahead of your time when it came. I mean, look at wrestling in today's scene. You've got everybody doing the flying stuff, the 450s and all this, the spots that
Yeah,
wasn't as prevalent
well,
back then. And
yeah,
now
but
everybody's doing it.
back then it was more credible. Now it's just so out there doing all these shows behind, and everybody's good guys, bad guys driving the car. Nothing matters. Yeah,
Yeah.
we know and everything, but protect the business a little bit. And there's like no protection whatsoever. Just any show that can, just to make some bucks, make money and stuff like that. And people don't sell anymore. Look at like our match with in our tag team match with them stuff. We sold. We didn't never got up and started running again. They hit them with
Yeah.
these incredible moves that we couldn't even thought about back in those days. But where do you go from here? Like at this
Yeah.
stage, they're doing all that stuff like AEW. Where are they gonna go from here? The fans now, all
Yep.
they want to do is see high spots and everything. There's no storyline. There's
Yep.
no there's no selling stuff like that. You have to sell and then run it and then slow it down and everything. But they're going like they go hundred miles per 100 miles per hour. AEW all the time. Crazy shit, but they don't sell and they need to give stories out, so storylines. WE, they don't do so much flying. They do now. They brought in some luchadors and doing that, but nothing like AEW. None of that flying stuff like crazy like they do over there. And they do the blood and they do all that stuff over there. But they have storylines, and that's where you catch the people. You catch people in those storylines.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
like I said, when you watch our matches or all the other watches on WCW, it looked it looked pretty real. It looked pretty real.
Yes.
Now you look at
Yes.
it stuff and everybody's slapping their leg. That's my biggest pet peeve. I used to did it, but I did it really fast and just one here. Now everything
Yep.
and you see it and I see it. I'm like, God, people see it and that just does nobody care? Like this, I'm thinking, I'm like, God, it's just terrible. I remember the first time I did that when I went to Japan because I wrestled the Super J Cup. Super
Okay.
J Cup. They came to Atlanta and to pick cruiserweights, and I was the only one they picked. So
Mm.
that was
I
that was
mean,
pretty
hey,
cool. So I
yeah,
went
for
over
sure.
there, and over there. That's strong style. strong style
Yeah.
means that their shit, like, they lay their shit in.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
know I did one kid, and they told me as soon as they were waiting for me, he's like, and now they do it. Now all the people up there do it. They told me at that time, no, you kick the guy. You lay it in there and make that nose. None of this. That just tells you how it's changed. Even in the strong style over there, they're doing
Yeah.
the leg slap like way over much. So, but what can you do? That's progress. Progress, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll call it progress. We'll call it progress. Um, Then you took a little bit of a hiatus after WCW shut the doors, and then you showed up on TNA and did some events over at TNA, working with Raven. I think you worked with Jeff Hardy over there. What was the backstage environment? I mean, you were just in WCW, then you come over to this new company that's getting things rolling. Was the environment different, better, worse? Backstage with the leadership.
It was definitely changed different from WCW. Like I said, I could my shit didn't stink in WCW. It was
Yeah.
all about me and stuff like that. When I went over there, nah, not so much and stuff. And I mean, I was doing good. I was having some good match with. We had like Jerry Lynn and Low Key and AJ. We were
Yep.
doing all these like 6 man like crazy stuff. And you research and find those matches. They were great. And I was doing good and stuff like that. But then after like a certain thing, and like some people were talking shit and stuff, and then I got buried. And ever since then, I
Oh.
never won a fucking match. Like never won a match. I'm like, look at me where I was. I never won a match. And they took the kid away from me. They're like, no, Jeff Jarrett took the kid away from me. He's like, no, he's too old. I'm like, what the fuck? They even know that answer me in the beginning it was Kid Romeo, and then they say Romeo. I'm like, what the fuck? That's when you know a thing, and I show up because I live here. I show up every show, give them rights to the agents, right to the, oh, yeah, we're gonna end. And they just never really worked out after that. They kind of buried me after a while. I just gave up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, if somebody was looking and watching this podcast or listening to us and had no idea who Kid Romeo was, what would be the one match that you would tell them they need to watch? Would it be the tag match in WCW?
Yeah, that was definitely the best match. Yeah, that was definitely the best match. I had a lot of really good matches on Saturday night too. With like with Elix Skipper and Alan Funk. And those guys, me and Alan Funk had really a lot of good matches. He was my first match on TV. And I actually want to know the story of how that happened was because I decided that was gonna be Alan Funk's first match. So Funky, if
Really?
you watch this podcast or hear it, say thank you. Yeah, because I was really with WCW, I was very connected and I was really in everything. So I was really with big names being frenzy and hanging out with like Kevin Nash and Disco and a lot of those people and Kevin Nash, he was booking. So I were not one night and he asked me, he's like, "Who do you want to wrestle, Romeo?" I said, "Oh," I said Alan, because we had history. He knows my shit, I know his shit. So, you know, we paid. That
Yeah.
was that was the first match on Saturday night's main event.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And they
Uh,
ribbed me. One of the televised matches, they put a piece of tape. When good luck, they get like that, and I walked out to the show on TV, and I had a piece of tape in the back of my Romeo jacket. What the fuck? There was, saying for a big head, but there was a lot of people there. They were jealous of me and stuff. And I never, everything that I did, I didn't do it. I didn't, if they chose me for whatever reason or this and that, that's how it is. I'm not gonna get pissy if they choose somebody, if they like somebody. It's just Jimmy Hart saw me one day. He just really liked my look and everything. He's, "Hey kid, what you doing, man? Just and that." Next thing you know, I got the push.
and
It just takes
and
like
then
one person to give me that push and stuff, and then I got pushed all the way to the end of the company.
I mean, you had the look. You had it. You had the charisma. You walked out, and I mean, you looked like a star. You really did.
Yeah, I mean, and and the physique and everything for a cruiserweight, I think was at that time like bar none really. When you saw me in there in the tag team championship and stuff, and the thing is, ring presence, working the crowd. You watch me doing
Yeah.
a lot of this. Shut up. Like this, I'm like going to the people. No, I work the crowd. I really into thing like that. There was never silence. There was never silence and stuff. I always had them booing me. Always had them booing me. And when I was a face, which I didn't like, a heel is much 10 times better than being a heel than a face for
Yeah.
me personally.
Yeah.
My best matches were being a heel and stuff. Be able to cheat and do whatever you want, not having to follow rules and stuff like that. So yeah.
Fair enough. And then you're going from being a heel and wrestling a bunch of these guys to now being the biggest baby face you can be and taking care of everybody's rabid raccoons and wrestling roaches. I mean, you've gotten into commando pest control. What started all that?
Well, when I was in the finishing of wrestling, I met a guy at the gym, and he had a business for pest control, and he asked me if I wanted to do it and stuff. And at that point, I had no education. I didn't go to college or anything. I went from dancing all my life to wrestling. Then here at my early 30s, what do I do now? So I kind of took that, and he gave me like a little uniform thingy, and I went to a couple house very very small jobs that he had and everything, and people recognized me. That was the worst. That was just like, oh man, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't even remember what lie I told that why I was there and stuff like that. I think I told him I was like permanently injured and stuff like that, not to look so not to look feel myself look terrible. But after a while, it took 2 years for me to straighten out and stuff, and then I took it with a grain of salt and just made a character out of it, commando, and I dress up like in the fatigues and black shirt. I even got a tactical jacket if I really want to dress it up and catch attentions and stuff like that. Dress up my truck's really really nice, and it's just wherever I gone, I get the attention for commando and being Kid Romeo. So I kind of owned
Yeah.
it and took off with it and stuff like that. I even had local commercials on TV here for a while. So a lot of people know me locally here, still for the commercials and for wrestling, and then obviously for Commando. So just made it into a thing. I mean, all my life has been a gimmick. I'm a walking, living, eating, shitting gimmick. I'm very gimmicky. I'm very gimmicky. Obviously, pest
Very
control
good.
people don't wear like khaki and white shirt down to here. I can't do that, man. You got to stand out and stuff like that. There's no other pest control that has like my kind of gimmick like that. That's go all out, with a
For
gun in the
sure.
holster for the stuff. It's fully loaded. Yeah, it catches people's attention when I'm walking. They look.
Yeah, for
Once they look,
sure.
they say a peep. Boom, there it is. Card. They're gonna remember you. Plus, I'm really good at what I do too. I'm really good at it. So I got a great standing in Google, almost 500 reviews, five star. That helps too.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I appreciate your time. I'm going to get one more question out before we end here. There's a lot of new people coming in the business. I mean, you were in WCW, like I said, a vital part of my love for wrestling. Any advice that what's the best advice that you've gotten in your career in your wrestling background, as well as something that maybe some new people that are coming into the business would be some good advice for them to hear knowing?
Stay to the end of the show. Pay attention. Watch all the matches. Stay out of gossip. Stay away from the girls. I got a lot of heat with girls. Lots of heat. Imagine that. But back in the day, it was very different. Agents got jealous of you every thing, and you were punished and stuff like that. I got suspended by fucking Terry Taylor, that piece of
Oh,
shit, and he's still in the business. He suspended me. He suspended me when they threw everybody on TV. So, and then I had to come back for that final run and everything. That I came back all super jacked up because I trained all that time really hard until I got the call back from Jimmy. okay, kid, we're ready for you back. This is what we're gonna do and everything. But I was suspended at that time when they brought everybody in all of a sudden to Nitro because I showed up 2 minutes late and 5 minutes apart. A girl that he liked, and I walked in now. Now everybody dates everybody in the show. They lead them. They live their lives. Back then, they would be jealous of it and stuff, and they didn't want you messing with the girls because that's who I was. That was pretty shitty, right? That was pretty shitty. Yeah, Terry
I
Taylor
mean,
kissed my ass, bitch.
I mean, and it's just a tease. You got those Nitro girls walking around all the time, and all they were doing was to show their goods to the crowd. So I mean, why not do a little flirtation while you're there?
It was my gimmick, man. Leave me alone and stuff. The guy's married or whatever, he was married and stuff like that. But still, honestly, that's why I got suspended because I got there 2 minutes late or some shit like that. Ridiculous. After we're already on TV and stuff like that, they were just looking to bust balls and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so now it's different and everything. So but really pay attention. Stay to the end of the show. Be respectful. Yes sir, no sir. All that kissing ass stuff, it works.
It's not just in wrestling. That's what makes the world go round. Believe it or not.
Yeah, especially in wrestling.
Well, kid, I really appreciate your time. Like I said, it has been an honor to talk to you. You were a part of my childhood, a part of me loving the sport of professional wrestling, and you just giving me a few minutes of your time. It's been such a pleasure. I greatly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Kid Romeo.
What up, guys? Take care, everybody. Love y'all. WCW for life.
Greatest in the way, Ray pushes returns and surprise debuts. Every backstage, whisper we bring it to you. New scripts needed, just passion and mic. Two wrestling nerds with the loudest takes. If the Mac gets shaken over, title gets lost. You'll hear it first from the Burrow and the boss. Yeah.